you are a band for the people. So do people often come up to you guys with stories about the songs or
every day?
All the time.
Single gig.
All the time.
You know, and people, because we put in some of the really old stuff as well into this set, people are coming up after the show and just telling me all their memories from that time. So they go, oh yeah, when you played this and that, I was having a baby, or I was ill in hospital, or I came with my boyfriend and we went on a crazy weekend, and they're telling me all these stories. But the funny thing is, as I'm playing them on stage, I'm remembering all the things that we did as well back from that time, you know, writing those records, playing to these gigs. So it's this fantastic, the show is a real trip, because one minute you're right up to date, you're right happening, what's happening now in the world, this is what we're talking about with the new music, and next minute it's throwing you back to a time that you have good thoughts about, because all the bad stuff's kind of gone then, you will remember all the good things. So it's this amazing kind of, it's a journey of emotions as well, because all the songs have a particular message, they're all very honest. And I think that, you know, we proved ourselves by being around for so long.
Yeah, I think the thing about a lot of our songs is they're quite weird. You know, our songs are quite weird because a lot of them are sentences caught in conversation almost, like who put little wave swastika on the wall, or they're selling Jesus again. You know, and they're kind of little comments, little phrases that, you know, I've heard and that we've heard. Oh, Charlie Big Potato, you know, we always had this like, hey, he's a right Charlie Big Potato, and that turns into a song, you know. That's why, especially in the early days, we had like really long, weird titles like, and this is nothing that I ever had, you know, and good things always come to you, and, you know, just because we didn't write in the same way that everybody else wrote. Our songs were conversational pieces, and in that way, that's what I'm saying, is that we don't write pop songs like Rage Against the Machine. They could become popular, but they're not pop songs.
Right.
You know, Rage Against the Machine was like one of our biggest influences when we started. And in the 90s, you could do that and do really, really well. You know, you could like Nirvana or something like that. You could be like an angsty, aggressive rock band with a lot to say and have political opinions and have some depth and some, and people loved it. And now, you know, listen to radio and it's like, you know, it's just all about partying and getting drunk and taking loads of drugs. It's like, yeah, but all of your songs, all of the time about that, you know? Like, is that all you have to say? You know? And I think that kind of weirdness and that juxtaposition is one of the things that kind of appeal about us. You know, you're not going to get like a normal rock song out of Skunk Anansie.
Well, a couple of questions. First, that the way of writing conversational style, was that by design? It developed.
Okay. It developed. It was just something that it developed. You know, I think that, you know, when you're in a song and when we're in the band and we write a song, the way that we judge a song is the hairs on the back of your neck. And that means that you have to be really in tune with the feeling and the vibe of the song. And then the trick is to keep that feeling all the way up to the mastering, which is really difficult. But that's how we judge a song. And it doesn't matter what's going on. And I find that some of the weirdest things that we've done have been some of the most successful, or some of the songs that, like Charlie Big Potato, you know, it's just like massive still. But what kind of song is that? It's weird. It's so weird. It's so weird. And then there's a song like All in the Name of Pity, you know, and then things like And Here I Stand, you know, that we're playing tonight for the first time in 22 years. These are not normal songs. They're really weird songs. And I think that people are really looking like things when they're different, you know. And I think as a band, we have a very distinct, clear style, and that style is Skunk Anansie. And as I say, we don't really analyze it. We don't really study it or analyze it. We just kind of feel it.
Right.
It's the way. That's the way we write songs. We throw lots. Like my favorite from this Anarchytechture is Victim, which is another weird structure, you know. And it's weird because the chorus goes down into this weird key. I'm a victim of, you know, so it's like major key and then it goes minor key for the chorus, and it's just weird, you know. You'd think it gets to a chorus and all of a sudden it's like it gets up and euphoric like everybody else's songs, but I quite like the fact that it goes down into like a minor key and it's like, I'm a victim of your love. That lyric, I love it. Just weird shit.
But what I find interesting, because, well, this might be a little bit of a grandiose question, but the state of the world as it is that part of kind of, does that drive you in terms of
So
music?
inspiring, unfortunately. I mean, I think inspiration is probably the worst word. I think it's, you know, I think that the way that political stuff has always made us quite incandescent, you know, injustice has always made us quite incandescent. At the same time, we're not a one-trick pony. We don't just do political songs. You know, we love fashion. We love heart songs about relationships. We write songs about just getting drunk and having fun. Like you have a good friend. If you just have a friend that just wants to talk politics all the time, it's so boring. I have a friend like that. I love her to bits, but my God, she can drive me crazy. Because sometimes you're going to mean, okay, well, my life isn't horrible, but I can put myself in the shoes of other people's lives because I used to be in those shoes. You know, I used to live that life. And so I know what it is to have no money. I know what it is to have no roots, to not feel like you don't belong in a country. You know, I know what it is to be classed as an immigrant, you know, because my parents are Jamaican. When we went to school, people, you know, well, what are we? Are we English or Jamaican? What are we? You know, I don't speak Jamaican. And so as individuals, you know, none of us are from wealthy backgrounds. We know what it is like to be in those situations, but we're not in those situations now because over, you know, you try and you crawl and climb your way out of it. And I think that's what I want for everybody to have the chance to be able to do. To be, okay, you may be born in this, but give everyone a chance to climb themselves out of it and to make a better life and to be in a better world and situations. And it's just incandescent the way that Britain is going and the way that America's going with Donald Trump and the way that we're going with Brexit. That people just don't give a fuck about other people anymore. It's like, I'm okay, Jack. I don't care that you're a refugee and somebody bombed your house. You're black and you're going to take our jobs and we don't want you here. And I think that I just went to an amazing exhibition at the V&A called We Are the Revolution, which is all about the revolutionary times in 1967, year I was born. And it was amazing how in those years there was Black Panther, there was the Jimi Hendrix album, the Beatles album, Rolling Stones album, there was the gay rights, you know, feminism acting, there was the Chairman Mao, you know, there was all these things going on at the same time in the world. But people were fighting for their rights, but a lot of it was kind of naive. You know, there's like, oh, you know what, yeah, okay. It was the same year that black people, and in 16 states, black people and white people weren't allowed to marry in 16 states. That changed in America. And it's like, people are like, oh yeah, of course black and white people can marry. That's of course. Now they're kind of like, well, of course we know that it's okay, but we don't want you to marry anyway. You know, it's like this knowledge that, like, we're going to be racist with knowledge. We're going to be homophobic with knowledge. We're going to be all of these negative things, misogynist, knowing fully that women are just as clever as men, but we want to keep you down with knowledge and information. Whereas back then, they didn't know. It was the beginning of like, oh, black people should have the same rights as white people, you know? Now it's like, yeah, well, no, we just don't, we know you should, but we don't want you to.
So it's a lot more overt.
Yeah, it's really, really, you know, this regime that's going on in America and in England, it's kind of this negative towards people from other countries and whatever. It's with knowledge, and that's the most thing that makes me. If you don't know, if you're ignorant, you can learn. But if you're fully informed and you decide to be ignorant, that's when I get really incandescent, because everyone's allowed to kind of like not know stuff to a point.
So, has what you mentioned now, has it already sparked a new song? Or?
I've got like 5 songs sitting on my phone right now.
Okay.
One of them is so unbelievable simple. You would just, when you hear it, you're gonna kill yourself. It's just so simple and so poignant. But I think that yes, of course, there's a lot going on in Skunk Anansie. I'm gonna be one of those bands that have a huge mouth about it. I mean, on stage, I have a massive rant about it. At the same time, that's not the whole of Skunk Anansie. So we have other things we talk about too.
But then finally, one thing, because you mentioned kind of giving people the feeling that they can climb out, and then like you said, out of their situation.
Amazing, like what you can do if you give people a bit of support and encouragement, and just give them a chance to climb out of whatever situation the world has put them in, or you know, whatever's put them in, however they got there. But just because they're born in the wrong country, you know.
And then you mentioned Rage Against the Machine, but who are maybe a couple of people, maybe David Bowie, I think, but who are certain people who gave you the strength along the way?
I think, you know, when I was a kid, I was a massive Angela Davis fan, you know, and it's amazing to hear her speak again recently. But I mean, I think I have musical heroes, I have political heroes. You know, I was massive, you know, massively into helping apartheid stop. You know, I was living in a house full of South Africans that were banned from their country in exile, and Namibians at the same time. You know, that was the first housing co-op I lived in that I helped run. And I think that we have musical heroes too, people that were like doing, I think our musical heroes are people that were just doing their own thing. You know, you think about what David Bowie did for sexual politics, even though he was straight. Right. You know, was amazing what Prince did on the black side, you know, in terms of, you know, Little Richard. And then you think of female kind of, you know, the first person who influenced me was like Blondie. I was a massive Blondie fan. First person I heard sing.
There's people you meet, right, that are like very successful now, and you go, wow, they're kind of cool. Like, say if you meet Dave Grohl, you go, wow, it's Dave Grohl, how cool, how nice is he? But then you meet Robert Plant and Jimmy Page, and you go, no, that is someone else, because it's their whole persona, their legacy. They started that stuff off. They changed so many things.
We met him recently, and he had so much time for us. You know, Lemmy was another one. Lemmy was a massive influence on the band. You know, Lemmy and David Bowie.
In terms of the attitude, or musically as well?
All of it. Yeah. You know, the individual. There's a guy. We were his favourite band, and you know, and he wasn't afraid to say it. Whereas a lot of bands, you know, Florence and the Machine will come up to me, oh, you know, you're such a massive influence on me. I'm like, but you know, you never see us say that in an interview. Like Marilyn Manson, another huge fan of Skunk Anansie, he says it in interviews. Because I mean, in some ways, we're the kind of the band that the industry likes to hate, but the people love to love.
So I think that's a good ending. I thank you very much.
That's a pleasure.
Thank you.